Hello and welcome to another wicked gameplay episode. Today we're in Prepared and we're at the Jackson's International Airport, which is in Papua New Guinea, just north of Australia, the northern part of Australia, which we're going to have a look at soon so you can see exactly where that is. But if you're familiar with Orbix and if you're into FSX or Prepared, you probably will be. This is one of their sort of latest scenery packages, but we're not here to really talk about that. You're just going to get to enjoy a bit of that scenery package here with the A2A Simulations 182, which is the star of today's show. So really fantastic aeroplane, and you would be most likely familiar with A2A, and if you're not, you should check them out because they make some fantastic aircraft. Now I have for Prepared all three aircraft, the 172, the Cherokee, and this is the 182, which have just released quite recently. And I thought I'd share with you today a little bit about this aircraft and pretty much why I like it. It's really, really nice, and a nice step up from the Cherokee, which I also like. So let's have a little look around this. What I should point out is this is not the default livery. This is a livery actually created by one of the A2A community members, and his name is Marius Risen. I hope I've got his name right. He actually created this repaint, and a really nice repaint it is, which is why I added it to this aircraft. It just looks really, really sweet and quite nice. Really suits the 182 quite nicely, and something that you can really enjoy. And I like that red because it makes this aircraft go a bit faster. No, not really. Okay, so I want to take us around the aircraft. We're going to look at some of the features. A lot of it is very similar to what we've seen in the past with A2A, but quite a few refinements, which I really like. And then we're going to take a trip to the one of the features of this scenery, which is the Kokoda trail, sort of along the Kokoda trail. I think the airport is, I know the airport code is Alpha Yankee Kilo Oscar, and I think it's the Kokoda track. It's not the Kokoda track. I think it's the Kokoda airport, which is basically just just a dirt runway, which we're going to land at. So we're going to come in there and land, and hopefully on the way we're going to see some of the bush airports along the way. Let's see if we can find some of those so I can show you, and maybe I'll do those on another video in a bush plane, even though you probably could get away with it in this plane. But we're going to go to the Kokoda airport, or Alpha Yankee Kilo Oscar. I can't remember the exact name of that airport, but that's where we're going. As you can see from a quality of modeling, you can see this is a fantastic aircraft. I mean, let me just zoom in here a little bit. Just everything is really, really nice, and A2A spare no effort when it comes to creating fantastic aircraft. They just have a high level of perfection. They do a fantastic job. I mean, just look at the detail and everything. Look at that. I mean, there's just no shortcuts. It looks fantastic. Look inside those grills there. It is really, really superb. Very, very nice. There's just the level of detail these guys go to is phenomenal. It's fantastic, and it shows. You jump in there and you're just amazed. Like when I jumped back in the jumped in this cockpit after flying some of the other aircraft, the quality of the texturing is phenomenal. It really is just I can't really speak highly enough of it. I was just blown away when I went in there and went, wow, look at the textures. So let's jump in the cockpit, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are, we're in the cockpit, and as you can see, just absolutely, let me get back to the front view, absolutely amazing. Look at those textures. Perfect. Look at that writing. perfect. Everything, it's like you're there, almost. You know, you could almost forget you're in a simulator. Really, really top-notch. Look at the quality of the modeling, the textures. You know, it's just superb. I think it could be the best cockpit of any aircraft that I've had in any flight simulator, and that's currently X-Plane and Prepared. Just look at that. It's just fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll have a quick look at the back here. You can see the roof. Everything's really well done. Quite amazing aircraft. We can also open the windows here. You know, they've got the genuine sounds. Some kind of weird going on there with the view, but I don't believe that's the aircraft. That's probably a Prepared thing. Close that door. Shut the window. And we'll look at some of the options that are available. Okay, so I'm going to get some of these options. So we've got the pilot's notes. We've also got the control panel here to access various options. Then we've got the passenger loading. So what we might do is while we're here, we're going to add some fuel in. What did we have there? 35 gallons. You can see the aircraft is being affected there. 82, and let's make that 82 as well. Or a bit over. You can also set metrics from imperial to metric. For me, living in Australia, it's metric. You can add baggage, you can add passengers, etc., etc. Really quite nice. What else? We've got a map and some options here. We've got some quick radios. Got the hangar, which is always a nice little feature where you can swap out batteries, tires. We can put some fairings on, all that stuff. We can put in flap seals, engine heater, switch to a different props. And you can see the condition of your aircraft. You can see I've done 4.3 hours. Tells you a little bit about the aircraft. You can also click on some of the engine here, the engine option you can repair. You'll see these are all green, so that means they're all in good condition. And do a compression test. That's all looking good. You know, if you click on these, basically it just changed it, but they're all green, so they're all good. You can also change the oil to different additives, and you can change your plugs. I'm using the fine wire, although I don't really know much of the reasoning between one or the other. That's something I'd have to research. And it tells you that this is the Lycoming IO540, and I guess this is some kind of engine number. So this is very similar to what you see in the 172, except this is a 6-cylinder engine, not a 4-cylinder engine. Everything else is pretty much the same. So we'll close that off. What else have we got? We've got the pre-flight inspection and an away from keyboard, which I don't really use. What else? I think that's it for options. So why don't we do the pre-flight. Now I think I'm not in a cold and dark state, so why don't we just get that up here. You can just hit this cold and dark state like so, and it just puts the aircraft in a cold and dark setting with the tie downs and the wheel chocks and the steering lock and all that stuff. So we'll then can jump in the plane, and you can see here we can move around, and we can get our pilot handbook out, and we can look at these kind of options here, what the notes are. We lean on the ground to avoid fouling the plugs. We check the cylinder head temperature is greater than 200 degrees before run up. Maximum flap extension is 10 degrees at 140 knots, 20 degrees 120 knots, full flaps at 100 knots, and the approach speed is 70 to 80 knots with flaps up, and 60 to 70 knots with the flaps down, and maximum crosswind of 15 knots. This just gives us some information here. You can see the cabin is warm and steady, all that good stuff. Well, let me get the... What am I looking for? No, we don't want that. We want this here. Let's just see if we can move around. You can see it gives you the different points around the aircraft where we can move through. And I guess you move around the aircraft in this direction. So that's actually that way. Okay, so we can move into here. We're in the looking at the pitot tube. So we're going to remove that and check that the pitot tube is warm. Yep, she feels warm to me. Baggage, we want to just lock that, so we put the key in there. The tail, we want to remove. We could just come back a little bit. We want to remove the tie down. We want to check the different points here. It's really good if you're not a real world pilot, but you want to be. This actually is telling you where to look. Again, these options. We can just check the control surface here for movement and security. Move around to the flaps here. We'll press this. This doesn't seem to work for me for whatever reason. We've got this here. Maybe that doesn't make sound like the other one. I don't know. But you would check that the flaps are secured and that the hinges, I guess, here are all secured correctly, that these are all safe and look normal. The ailerons will check the proper movement and would also check in these points here just to make sure nothing looks out of place. The right wing will remove the tie down and we'll check for damage along the front edge of the wing there, and the fuel vent opening, which is here. Doesn't really say. Check that it's not blocked. There you go. Go to the next one, the tires. We want to check for proper inflation condition, remove the wheel chocks, so we're going to do that. And we'd also examine the tire tread depth and wear and check for hydraulic leaks on the tire or around the pavement. Make sure that there's no leakage there. And a friend of mine, or a friend of a friend actually, is a pilot and did send a photo of the front nose wheel of an aircraft he was flying, a GA aircraft, which had a lot of hydraulic fluid around. So therefore, yeah, they didn't get to go on their trip that day. Fuel tank sump, quick drain. Actually, let's just see what that looked like there. Okay, so we want to drain the fuel. So we have this option here. We can drain more. Now, I don't know if this actually changes, but this is what you'd be doing. We want to check the fuel quantity here. So we get this and see if our fuel looks good. It does look pretty good there. Nice. So move along. We want to check the right static source opening for blockage. That's this little round thing here. This is part of your instruments, making sure that they read correctly. Fuel strainer, quick drain. Want to do that. Check the proper inflation and condition of the nose wheel. Check for proper strut extension. Examine the tire. Check for hydraulic leaks. Check the prop. Make sure there's no damage, there's no chips around the edges, the leading edge, and obviously don't be careful when you're checking that, that you're not, risking your life by putting yourself in harm's way there. Check the engine cooling vents, that they're clear of obstructions. It's I believe it's just air cooled, so you want to make sure that there's plenty of air that's able to get through here. Check for restrictions. And you click this button, but not really sure how that works. We check the engine dipstick. Change the oil every 25 hours or 4 months, whichever comes first. So we could check that. You can see it's a nice bronzy color, and seems okay. Close that. Also want to check the left static source, which is right here. You can see that little circle thing just here. That's your left static source, and again, check that that's not blocked. It will affect your instrumentations if it is. check the right fuel for the desired level, and left wing, fuel tank, quick drains. Again, you can check there's no water in your fuel. Main tyre, remove the chocks, same sort of thing. Check that your other tyre is clear and fine. Remove the tie down, check the leading edge of the wing. I believe this is the store warning opening for blockages. And you'll check the leading edge of the wing there for damage, and I think we're good here. We've got the fuel tank vent opening as well. Make sure it's not blocked. Aileron, wingtip and lights. Check the condition. Check for proper movement and security. Again. It's that. And security condition of the other aileron. Maybe these don't work unless they're in a certain position. Okay, so that would get us ready here. So we'd remove the pitot tube, pilot's operating handbook, weight and balance, which we've already checked, have we? Yes, we checked the weight and balance. Parking brake is set. So weight and balance is, let me see if I can find it here, which is this. It's your weight and balance, fuel manager. Parking brake. So parking brake's just let me get down here. It's on here, you can see here. Just click that, so it is on, set, control wheel lock removed. We've got ignition switch is on. And avionics master switch is off. Avionics battery master on. Oh, we want our ignition switch on, so I've done that incorrectly. Ignition on. Then you would turn your master battery on. Make sure, obviously, you want to make sure your avionics are off, so you don't do any damage to that. The avionics battery master on. Pitot heat is on. Fuel quantity is checked. Where are we? Avionics master switch. So we got here, we've got plenty of fuel. Avionics master switch is now on. Static pressure old source valve, which is this red button here, is well, this, you can pull this in or out. Want it in. So static pressure old source is off. Annunciator panel test is up here, so we've got our test. We'll pull that up. You can see all our lights are flashing there. There's no lights that aren't working. They're all flashing, so that's good. We check that all lights illuminate. Annunciator panel test switch release, which we've done. Check the appropriate lights remain on. Fuel selector set to both. I'm just going to turn this around and flip it over here. Flaps extended, and we just want to check. Let me just get down here a little bit. I should be able to look down here a bit. So what we're actually looking for here is we want to make sure that the flaps all come down on both sides of the aircraft. So we'll check the pilot side as well. Yep, that's all down. So we're fully extended, flaps extend, pitot heat is now off. So we'll get back to here and we'll turn this off. Avionics master switch. So I guess you'd probably do all this. We'll turn the avionics. Now it's off. Battery master off. And elevator trim set for takeoff. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So then you'd probably do all that first, then move around to your, you know, to do that, some of these checks here, which is probably why some of those didn't actually work. So that works there. Yeah, now that's why it wasn't working before. You're supposed to get yourself in a position to be able to check that. So, etc. We do that. We go back around. Get all the way through. I just want to go back to the other aileron. You can see that's moving there. That's really cool. So I just learned something today. So you can see there, we want to check that. We want to check these points here, make sure they're all safe. That's really cool. You can see there's that movement. And there you go. So that's how that would all work. So we just turn the ignition switch to off. Then we could move to. Just get back in the cockpit. So we've done that. We've done our pre-flight. So we get that back up there. So we've done our pre-flight inspection, and now what we're going to do is the startup sequence here. So the airplane weight and balance is checked. Yes, we've done that. Parking brake is set. Control wheel lock's removed. It's already gone. Ignition and avionics off. Master switch on. Master switch is on. So let me check that I've got these all off here. Master switch is on. Check fuel quantity, which is fine. We're at 3/4 on each tank. Static pressure old source valve is off. That's in. We've got the annunciator panel. Test that. We've already tested that. Fuel selector is on both. And cowl flaps are open. So here's you got your cowl flaps here. These are closed. Let's make sure that's actually open. What else do we have here? Flaps extended, which they're already extended. Master switch is off. And elevator trim set to take off. So essentially that's your pre-flight, more or less your pre-flight, part of your pre-flighting. Engine starting. So let's get ourselves in a position to get started here. Let's just come up a little bit. And we're going to do the throttle is cracked. Just crack that a little bit. Mixture out, which it's out now. Prop control in, so we'll just push that all the way in. Master switch is on. Beacon is on, so let's get our beacon to let everyone know that we're going to be starting the engine. That's obviously the little red flashing beacon on the outside to let people know we're going to be starting the aircraft. Another thing that's quite common is to put the keys up on the top of the dashboard here before you start, so people know that you're in there and that you're going to be starting the engine. Where were we? Beacons on. Cowl flaps are open. Yes, they are. And skip to step 10 for a warm engine. Fuel pump is on. And what we want to do is mixture rich while the fuel pump is on until stable fuel flow. 3 to 5 seconds, then set to idle cut off, then turn the fuel pump off. So here's our fuel pump. We'll do this. Looks good. Stand clear. So what we do is open our window here and just clear. Ignition to start. And oops, just bump that. Okay, so we want to ignition start, then we want to advance the mixture to rich. We've got our throttle crack there. So essentially what we're doing is turning this and advancing the mixture. Okay, so we've got this thing started. Just get the revs at just a little bit lower there. The RPM at about 1,000. Okay. So we've advanced our mixture. We want to now start checking some engine gauges here. So we want to make sure all pressure is green. That's fine. Also, there's a couple of things here I wanted to point out, which I failed to do. We might do those at the other option. Actually, I'll just quickly show you here. There is also a towing option, which is allowing you to maneuver the plane here, which would have been quite handy actually right now, but we're going to miss out on that. There is also get back in the plane. There is also an option for different radio stacks, so no GPS. You know, this the GPS. This is the Garmin 295, I think. The GNS 400 and no GPS. There's also some third-party options. There's also the HSI configuration here, which you can have the standard, or you can have this KI525A, which is kind of nice, and also has a couple of different options here. I don't really know that much about these HSIs, but I tend to prefer this look than the standard one. It just makes me feel like we've got a much better, more modern aircraft. Let's just set this, which will make the actual GPS up. GPS 400. Set that to that, and let's just start taxiing out. Gotta lean out fuel and stall the engine. I really don't have a way around this yet, so I'm going to be cheating and using the guide here. It's quite nice weather. We're using Active Sky next for the weather here. To the arrows, guiding us in the right direction. I didn't pull up a chart or anything, but probably something that you would do in real life. Obviously, you can't get those. quickly start, we'll do our before takeoff checklist. So seatbelts and doors, check secured. Yep, they all look good. They're secure. Flight controls free and correct. So what we're actually doing here, the whole idea of this is to see that the ailerons are actually working. It's not just to see if your controls maneuver. You need to make sure that the ailerons and that sort of thing are working. So make sure that's working. Make sure all that's working. That all looks pretty good. It's all good. You don't want to get up in there and find out that some of your flight surfaces aren't actually working. So flight instruments are checked and set. Yes, they're all good. Just hide this again. So we've got that. Good. Mixture is rich. Cow flaps are open. Cow flaps are open. I'm going to put the mixture to rich. Set our mixture rich. Cow flaps open. Fuel selector in both. 1800 RPM. We want to do our mags check. So what we're doing is we're looking at the RPM here. We're looking for an RPM drop. Just a slight drop. No more than 175 and a difference of 50 between each mag. Looks good. Then we want to cycle the prop control here. And engine vacuum's good. Amps are good. Temperature's good, pressure's good, cylinder head temperature's good, we're looking good, fuel flow's good, everything looks good. Put our mixture back a bit there. Annunciator panel, nothing is illuminated, throttle to idle, radios and lights are set, elevator trim is set. That wings set to 20. We're on 20, and basically we're ready to go. So what do we got here? Takeoff. Wing flap set to 20 degrees, full throttle, and 2400 RPM. Mixture is rich. Okay, so we're back. I've got us lined up on the runway here. I've got my track IR on because it's just easier to duck down and look around like that. And I just like it when I'm flying, not so much for, you know, tuning the controls and that sort of thing. But we're going to use it right now, so we're going to just get ourselves ready. We want wings, just make sure we're ready to go. Flaps are set to 20. Full power. We're going to have a mixture rich. Do that now, lift the nose to nose wheel at 50 to 60 knots. Do that gradually. Oops. Before I do that, I want to get our landing lights on. Oops, I didn't have my taxi lights on. selector is both, and cow flaps are open, so we're on our way. Jump back in and have a look at that. So it looks good. Now window open. Actually, put our headphones in there. Get things nice and quiet. But we can, actually. Cabin air. Got a nice climb, we're about 80. Check that manifold pressure, we can just bring that up a little bit more. That we don't get into a stall. You want to be aware of what the aircraft is doing when you are in autopilot, and just not rely on that it's doing the right thing. Lights are all good. Pitot heat, I don't think we need it. Although I really don't know what the temperature is outside today. This doesn't, as far as I'm aware, have a temperature gauge. So when we get to 5,000, we should be just coming up to 5,000 feet. It's just settling down now, which is good. We're getting into some cloud here. So we're getting into a cruise here. Let's jump outside. Going through the cloud. Beautiful aircraft. There you have it. It's quite a stunning aircraft. Well, I guess stunning that. It's what most of us could actually fly, which is really cool, and I'd be pretty excited about flying something like this. Definitely something I wouldn't mind doing in the future. Once I get my pilot license. Something I'd aspire to do. Okay, so I'm going to fly along, and I'm just going to fly along and show you some highlights of the trip, rather than have you sit here for the whole trip with me. See if I can find some of those airports along the way and tune into those exciting moments as we get there. Actually, but before we do that, why don't we get ourselves into cruise mode, which what we would do here is power at 15 to 23 inches and 2000 to 2400. So we could go power 15 to 23 inches, so we're roughly about 23 right now. And we might just pull the prop back a little bit here. Get ourselves about 2200. Nice cruise, and we'll pull the mixture back. We'll see the EGT will start to climb. If we do that, there it goes, it's starting to climb now. We just want to pull that back until the engine starts to complain. As you can see there, so I'm just going to now lean it forward again, advance the mixture a bit, so that should be fine. So we want to just close the cow flaps here. You can see here our fuel flow now is down around 10 gallons per hour. It gives you some settings here, so we're good. Let's see if we can find any of these bush strips, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so we're come across some rain and getting a little bit of turbulence now, so you can see we're getting knocked around a little bit. It's not too bad at this stage. You can see some rain outside, and we're getting sort of quite low in the compared to the mountains here, so we might just get this thing up a couple more thousand feet. When we're doing that, we probably want to get the RPM and all that sort of thing up, so we can get power. I should be able to climb efficiently. While we're doing that, we might just open our flaps to make sure we're getting enough cool air. Starting to get pretty close to those mountains. Get our heading and just veer off to the left here as we continue to climb. Though we're getting into some cloud here, which is not ideal. Get over to make sure we don't hit any terrain. Up to set ourselves at about 10,000 feet. Higher than what I anticipated, so we're just going to turn off, get ourselves an opportunity to get some altitude. We're going to go into a stall. So here we just didn't have the altitude we needed, so we're going to divert around here. Just taking the autopilot off. divert around these mountains. As you can see that was a little bit too close for comfort, but we'll continue to climb. We maintained our existing course. We'd be controlled flight into terrain, which wouldn't be ideal. So, not good. Mountains definitely were higher than what I anticipated. Now we're actually going back the way we came, so we want to just get back on course here. That was too high. Terrain was actually quite high there. All the more reason why you want to plan your flights and know what the terrain's going to be like. And, you know, not just fly blind and hope for the best. You really, especially in mountainous areas, you really want to know what that terrain's going to be like. So I think we're sort of getting back on track now. Just get back around here. We've got some additional altitude here, so get ourselves up around. Maybe we'll need to go a bit higher. I think the maximum altitude for this plane may be 12,000 feet. Actually too far from our destination. Just bank around to the right. Kind of feels like we're going around in circles, but fortunately it is what we needed to do to maintain clearance of the mountainous areas here. Go up here and down a little bit now that we're in a bit of a better position. Could be a nice bush landing. Just at the top of this peak here. This is where I love track.io. You can just duck your head down and have a little look, or pop your head over and look over the nose just like a real aircraft. Everything's looking good. We're just checking the engine instruments. Fuel's good, temperature's good, fuel flow's good, manifold pressure looking pretty solid. Airspeed's okay. We're in the green. We're up around 85. So we're climbing. be expected. What's the range here? 4 minutes away. So we're right above. We'll have to do a bit of a dive down here. We haven't found any of the bush airports. I have seen them on a couple of test flights. But none on this trip. Something we can explore on another episode. Maybe in a Piper Cub or a Piper Pacer or something like that. Apparently, we are very close to the runway. Again, it's something you want to be aware of. You should really know the altitude of the runway you're coming into. I'm just winging it here, really. I haven't spent any time researching the terrain or the runway elevation. That is all stuff that you would want to know in a real world scenario before you get going, get underway. It's really important that you don't become a casualty. Got a bit of height to get down. Should be directly in front of us here. Probably a little bit hard to see because you can you just see it there. If we fly direct, we'll fly right over the middle of it. So this gives an opportunity to bank around. Fly over the center of the runway here. Trying to wash off some airspeed because I'm kind of coming down pretty fast. Get probably 10 degrees of flaps now. Around 100. Can't see outside there. Well, we're basically just over the top of it. Another set of flaps in there. Reduce our airspeed. Get my mixture actually rich now. Let's get our checklist up here. Power is desired, mixture adjust. Cow flaps should be closed actually. Altitude barrow check. Don't know what that is. What the setting is right now. Fuel selector is on both. Wing flaps as desired. 10 degrees, 140. Should go full flaps at less than 100 knots. We could actually do that right now. We just want to keep this slowing down. Landing 70 to 80 knots. We get about 1,000 feet. Now I thought we might be able to get that information here. Elevation 1266. Still got that bit of rain. We've got nothing here. No ATC here. We're actually out of here on our own. I'll just bank around. Okay, so we've got a bit to go, so we'll just pull this back. Don't want to let our airspeed wash off too much. Just go another set of flaps. To our right here. There it is. So we've still got a bit of height to wash off there. Let this come down. Still quite high actually, so I'm just gonna pick up the speed here. Not ideal. Just trying to lose a bit of altitude here, so just gonna buy myself some time. I don't know if that's a valid technique. Try and get it nice and smooth. Try and wash off some of that airspeed so we don't have too much airspeed when we touch down. Start to flare. Power off. Pulling back. And on the brakes. Minimum braking required after landing. Flaps up. Let's pull that mixture back a bit. Get our cowl open. We'll head over to the local FBO here. So we did make it. Almost got ourselves into trouble with the getting close to some hilly terrain there, but we survived. Okay, so we've made it. Let's just get it here. What else do we want to do here? We just want to get ready to shut this thing down, securing the airplane. So we're going to set the parking brake. Let's keep this about 1,000 so we don't flood the engine. Pull throttle idle, pull full out, electrical equipment off. Turn off our GPS. We survived this trip. Oh, this is off. Off. And so we've got our electrical equipment. Turn that off. Landing lights off. Pitot heat's already off. Mixture idle cut off. That's off. Fuel's off. Magneto switches off. Oh, that wouldn't work. Master switch and batteries off. Control locks install. Fuel selector valve left. Wonder why that is not off. Kind of interesting. It says left. That's kind of strange. So what I did want to show you, which I didn't show you at the start, however, is the towing option. Here we can tow, and when you press this tow, you then allow your yoke, which is why I didn't put the parking brake on, by the way, to become the towing option. I'm going to push that back. Maybe it doesn't want to push. Maybe because it's pretty hard terrain and it's going to be too hard to push. It won't let me push or pull, but you can see it's trying. Well, parking brakes off. There we go. So I could then maneuver my aircraft where I want it using the tow option. Which is a very, very nice option here. You can see that we're towing. Just park this baby for the night, and we'll head back in the morning when the weather clears. So there's the towing option. Obviously then we'd get our brake, turn our beacon off, and we are good to pack up for the night. Then we could yeah, Peter, we'll just go cold and dark. There you go. That's how you can do it. Pretty. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the new subscribers, and thanks to all the subscribers that have stuck around on the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.